Hey, church, Prophet Chad, let me talk to you a minute. 31 years ago, I gave my heart to the Lord. 31 years ago, I got saved. 31 years ago, I became born again. 31 years ago, Jesus wooed me and convinced me to join His team. And that's what I've done. Full steam ahead into everything that God wanted me to do. Except for a handful of years. Yeah. I had a handful of years where I was frustrated with people. I was aggravated with people. I was tired of people being deaf, dumb, blind, egotistical, arrogant, selfish. And I was done. And I told God to take this calling, take these gifts, and give it to somebody else that I didn't want them anymore. God didn't listen to me. No, I'm not surprised either. And I got a little irritated with God. And I told Him again, God, I don't want this anymore. I'm not doing it. Give it to somebody else. And I quit. I wasn't doing any kind of ministering. I wasn't part of any congregation. Needless to say, that little venture didn't work out so well for me, because here I am. Over the last few months, I have found myself dealing with some similar thoughts. Not tempted, not a temptation, not in the least. But dealing with some of the same thoughts, how people are so arrogant and egotistical and selfish and blind and deaf and dumb and whining and complaining and unwilling to learn, seem to want to continue to stay right where they're at. And then I found myself with a choice. You know, life's full of choices for us, right? You choose to either have supper or skip supper. You choose to either sit outside or sit inside. Well, in this case, I had the thoughts, it's like, I could just quit again. Or I can choose to continue being who God has created me to be. Anybody want to take a guess as to which one I picked? Here's the thing, church. Jesus butted heads with the Sadducees and Pharisees. He butted heads with the religious leaders of His time. He butted heads with the church leaders of His time. He was the Messiah. He was the Son of God. And they never acknowledged Him for who He was. They disregarded Him at every turn, no matter what He did, no matter what He said. They were the ones that crucified Him, remember? They were the ones that plotted to have Him removed from the picture. Even after He was crucified, buried, and 3 days later rose from the dead, they still chose not to acknowledge anything that God had done. As a matter of fact, they went right back to the temple doing the same things they had always done. The same ceremonies, the same structure, the same songs, the same form, the same look. They went right back to doing everything the way they had always done it, completely ignoring what God had been doing right in front of them. I'd be willing to bet, and most historians agree on this fact, that when they went back into the temple, that they probably even went as far as to repair the veil or make a new one. You know, the one God ripped in two when Jesus died? Again, completely ignoring, completely disregarding what God had been doing right in front of their faces. They chose to go back and continue doing the same things that they had always been doing. They were serving the Lord. But God was doing something different. God was showing them the purpose of what they were doing, and they didn't acknowledge it. God was right in front of them. And not only did they not acknowledge it, they killed him. So here's the question I have for you, church. Something you definitely might want to think on. How many times has God ripped the veil for you and given you access to His power and His presence? Given you what you need to help you overcome, to help you grow, to help you mature, to help give you victories, to help you move forward. And you completely disregarded it. How many times has He ripped the veil for you and you blew it off? How many times has God ripped the veil for you and you attempted to kill the very thing God was giving you to heal you? And here's something even more profound for you to think on. How many of you have not only disregarded things God has done in your life for you? How many times has God performed things right in front of you? How many times has God shown you things? How many times has God given you people? How many times has God presented you with options? And you just completely disregarded them. And you just go right back to doing the same old things. Singing the same old songs. Going through the same old structure. Going through the same old form. Doing the same old things that you've always done. All the while, the other things that God had been doing right in front of you, you paid no attention to. But not only did you ignore what God was doing, not only did you not acknowledge what God was doing, but maybe you actually took that veil that God ripped for you and tried either repairing it or replacing it. Love you all.